Imagine a vast expanse of ice, where the sun offers no warmth, and the wind carries whispers of despair. Entire expeditions have disappeared in this desolate wilderness, their ships buried in frozen cathedrals of ice. What drove men to risk everything, and venture into this unforgiving labyrinth? Was it ambition, desperation, or something darker? For centuries, this perilous Arctic route between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans tempted explorers with the promise of untold glory. But it also became a stage for tragedy, a place where the cold was unrelenting and the silence swallowed even the strongest wills. This was the Northwest Passage. In the early 1500s, European nations were looking for faster trade routes to Asia. The Northwest Passage was thought to be the ideal shortcut, but it lay in icy, uncharted waters, making it almost impossible to navigate. The unpredictable Arctic weather and shifting icebergs made the journey even more dangerous. Nevertheless, the relentless quest to conquer the frozen natural frontier began. One of the first attempts to find the passage was made by Sir Martin Frobisher in 1576. He sailed with 3 small ships, including the Gabriel and the Michael. His voyage was full of challenges. Towering icebergs and violent storms trapped the ships. In the end, Frobisher returned home with only fool's gold, instead of the success he had hoped for. His journey demonstrated the brutal unpredictability of the Arctic. It left a legacy of caution for future explorers. By the mid-19th century, interest in the Northwest Passage was growing. In 1845, Sir John Franklin led an expedition with 2 technologically advanced ships, the Erebus and the Terror. These ships were reinforced with iron plating and had steam engines, giving hope of survival in the Arctic. Unfortunately, Franklin's crew of 129 men disappeared without a trace. For decades, search teams found mysterious clues. Skeletal remains were discovered scattered across the icy landscape. Lifeboats were found abandoned, still filled with personal belongings. Even tainted canned food was recovered, which may have caused lead poisoning among the crew. The men of the Franklin expedition faced unimaginable horrors. As their food supplies ran out, starvation set in. Evidence suggests that some of the crew resorted to cannibalism in their desperation. Bones found years later revealed cut marks showing the grim lengths to which the survivors went. These remains paint a tragic picture of the crew's final days. Such dire circumstances revealed the terrible cost of ambition in the face of the wrath of nature. The Inuit people provided valuable information about Franklin's doomed expedition. Oral histories describe groups of starving, sick sailors wandering across the ice. Some were seen dragging sledges full of supplies. These men were frozen and emaciated, but they tried to keep moving. Despite their efforts to survive, the harsh Arctic environment eventually defeated them. The Inuit accounts provided critical insights into what happened to the lost sailors. Their observations helped unravel mysteries that would have remained frozen in time. In recent years, modern technology has revealed new details about the expedition. In 2014 and 2016, researchers discovered the wrecks of the Erebus and the Terror. Both ships were found in remarkably good condition. Advanced imaging techniques and underwater drones have been instrumental in the location of the wrecks. These discoveries rekindled interest in the doomed expeditions. They helped to solve centuries-old mysteries. Artifacts, recovered from the wrecks, offered powerful insights into the lives of the sailors who perished. These findings have helped historians piece together their tragic stories. Items such as tools, personal belongings, and journals provide a deeper understanding of their struggles. Each recovered object tells a fragment of a story frozen in time. In 1850, the HMS Investigator was sent to search for Franklin's lost expedition. However, it too became trapped in the ice near Banks Island. The crew remained isolated for 3 years before abandoning the ship. Remarkably, the wreck of the Investigator was discovered in 2010. It was found in pristine condition, preserved by the icy waters of the Arctic. This discovery revealed new details about the ship's last moments. The fate of the Investigator underlines the immense risk of the search for answers in the Arctic wilderness. In 1879, the USS Jeannette set out to explore the Arctic. Lieutenant George W. DeLong was leading the expedition. The ship became trapped in ice, and remained there for almost 2 years. Eventually, the ice crushed the ship, forcing the crew to abandon it. De Long and his men then attempted a 1,000-mile trek to safety. Of the 33 crew members, only 13 survived. The rest succumbed to frostbite, starvation, and exhaustion. Their journey serves as a stark reminder of the unyielding power of Arctic ice. Navigating the Northwest Passage was incredibly dangerous. The Arctic was full of huge icebergs, some as big as buildings. These icy giants drifted unpredictably and posed a constant threat. Pack ice, which could trap ships for months or years, added another layer of difficulty. Crews sometimes tried to break the ice by hand, an almost impossible task. Pushing explorers to their limits, the vastness of the Arctic tested their physical and mental endurance. Survival in the Arctic required creativity and adaptability. Explorers wore fur clothing to keep warm, and built snow shelters to protect themselves from blizzards. They hunted seals and whales for food. Despite these efforts, the extreme cold and lack of resources often proved too much for many. The combination of ingenuity and sheer endurance was often the only thing standing between life and death. The cold and ice weren't the only dangers. Wild animals could also pose a threat. Polar bears, attracted by the scent of food, would sometimes attack stranded crews. These massive predators were both feared and hunted for survival by the explorers. Encounters with these animals were terrifying and often life-threatening. The Arctic's wildlife was both a source of danger, and a rare glimmer of life in the frozen expanse. Not surprisingly, the Arctic was often thought to be cursed. Many seafarers believed that the icy region was haunted by spirits, or plagued by bad luck. These superstitions added to the mental strain of surviving in such a harsh and isolated environment. Today, modern ships can navigate the Northwest Passage during certain months of the year. Climate change has melted some of the ice, making the route more accessible. But the Arctic remains a challenging and dangerous environment. Its treacherous conditions continue to test even the most advanced technology. The passage may be more navigable today, but it remains steeped in the shadows of its tragic past. The stories of the doomed expeditions remind us of the high cost of exploration. These journeys left behind tales of ambition, survival, and tragedy, forever frozen in the icy wilderness.